achieve the lap time. A couple of times we've seen cars go out and do long runs, build the speed over the course of 3-4 laps, and sometimes we've cars go out and effectively do a top 10 shootout, do the one run. There is just enough time to get 2 tyre runs in if that's the strategy you want to use.
Now, we obviously are sports car racing here, but it's not the 1000. There are still plenty of V8s inside this top 10, and one of them is a V8 boy in Brock Feeney. He was the sole guy to go out there for the Mustang team earlier today. It's a new car, it's new to him, and this was pretty impressive to see him wheel it straight into the top 10 in his first crack.
Yeah, first time that Ford have brought the GT3 Mustang here to Mount Panorama. And for Brock to get the opportunity to qualify this car, his teammates in Christopher Mees and Dennis Olsen's, both factory Ford drivers, both those drivers have a huge amount of experience here at Mount Panorama in other GT3 machinery. But for Brock, who drove this car for the first time ever in practice on Friday, to get that chance to qualify, it's a real feather in his cap. And obviously Brock's Supercars team, Red Bull Ampol Racing, we have just started the Ford relationship. So for Brock personally as a driver, perfect way to start his life as a Ford driver.
You got like 1,000 pole positions last year in the Supercars Championship, broke the record with 17 or 18 poles last year, so knows his way around a lap. To do it, he's going to have to beat an army of Mercedes-AMGs. They have showed up with some serious pace. These V8s are loving Mount Panorama. Who's been the pick for you out of these guys so far?
Well, I mean, Cam Waters is provisionally fastest, but for me, Scott Andrews, who's second in that session in one of the Tagani Motorsports AMG Mercedes. He did it last year in their car last year. It was an Audi last year, and now they've switched to all their fleet across to Mercedes. So for Scotty Andrews to put that car not only into the pole battle, but deep into the pole battle, second outright in that session, really top effort.
Yeah, Jaden O'Jade is another name, a local boy running in the Supercars Championship, but doing a really nice job at stepping into this team, and he's getting ready to go. He's had a few years now as an AMG junior, and they have really backed him down in that operation as well to do the job today.
Yeah, I mean, Jaden O'Jade has done a lot of miles in these cars as that factory AMG junior here in Australia, all through Asia, has done some racing in Europe as well with AMG. He'll have a dual program this year in the Repco Supercars Championship for Premier Racing in the Chevrolet Camaro and doing AMG duties as well. So he's in the top 10 Pirelli pole battle. He'll be a contender. They'll hustle these things for sure.
Yeah, but there is one car in this field, not running a V8, not running natural aspirated. It's the sole turbo car in the field, the defending champion, Shay. Have they got something for us in this session?
Well, that's what we're going to find out if Raffaele Marcello can pull magic out of the hat. And for Augusto Farfus, it's got to be such good emotions coming back to this place, having won at Bathurst now. Do you think your car, though, can win the pole award to just top it off?
Well, of course, that's a wish to put a car on pole. This is a 12 hours race, but track position is crucial, so we're going to give it all. We have seen, actually, on the last qualifying, how tight is the field. You know, within like 310, there was maybe 4 or 5 spots. So I do think we have the chance to be there. I'm seeing a lot of very fast cars putting good laps the last minute. So our target, of course, will be to be in maybe, first 2 rows. Let's see, Lelo's on top of the game, and now it's time to cheer for him.
You've done this race twice now. Do you feel like you've learned more in the last year than you did in your first year that's helped you maybe come in with a different sense for the race?
Well, last year we won the race. This race, it is still one of these old style race where you have to be clever how you use your field, how you race, and track position is crucial. So different than other endurance race where you can always have a shot on the last safety car and so on. Here, if by the end of the race you're not up there, it's very difficult to make a position. So learning this track, learning the race, every lap here helps. Of course, coming back 2 years in a row makes life's a bit easier, but we are all professional here, so you have seen also Max Hesse coming for the first time ever and putting the car, I think, P11. So all these guys are professionals, so at the end we are looking up for those towns of second, and we are all very close.
Well, we need to keep an eye on Augusto because he's won Daytona twice, he's won Nürburgring twice. Only the one at Bathurst. Let's see if we can do it again.
Well, I think we should try to keep the statistic high, so why not? I would take this.
Yeah. Chad?
Yeah, they're going to be in with a shot tomorrow. But quickly, let's focus on today. And for the first time, we're down here in the Pirelli pit bunker talking about the Pirelli pole battle. It is just one 15-minute session, which equates to about 6 laps around here at Mount Panorama. As Garth talked about, there is just enough time to come in and do 2 runs if you want to. What are the sort of lap times that we are talking about here? Here are the last few pole laps over the last few years, and you can go straight to the top and see Maro Engel, sadly not in this session. That is an all-time lap of a 2-minute flat 0.8. We've seen lap times somewhere around this bracket here in the mid 201 so far today for Cam Waters. Can we get into that amazing range? Could we see the quickest lap ever for pole? Now, how do you go out there and break this down, this 6-lap segment? We've seen in the past, if we switch over to the last 4 years and how we've achieved these pole positions. Chaz Mostert did it in 2022. The yellow laps here are what we call 80% push laps. Not as fast as he can go. He then cooled it off about halfway through the session, then went bang, straight into a 202.49. Maro Engel, that lap which he achieved, came off the back of multiple push laps to get down to that flying 2-minute lap. But then there's been a change in the last few years, much more like what you'd see in a Supercars shootout where the guys have gone out, done 1 lap, bang, 2:01.9. Recently, Lucas Auer last year, very similar to what he did earlier today, went straight out, slow out lap, bang, 2:01.276. And we've seen the Mercedes spend a little bit of time in the pits, and Shay's been noticing they've been getting that heat soak into the car, then going out and doing that single lap time. We're not too far away from getting into this, but there is a special moment here that we just want to take stock and recognise a great friend of the series here in Supercars, and also for the Bathurst 12 Hour as well, in the wonderful John Casey, who sadly we recently lost. He was a member of the Supercars leadership team. He also led the Bathurst 12 Hour and was a founding father of the modern 12-hour race as we know it today. Energetic, passionate, personable, and sadly we lost JC recently in January. He's going to be oh so missed, and I'm sure that he will be looking down on the Bathurst 12 Hour here today.
Beautifully said, Chad. And JC loved this race, and he would love the setup we have now as we work our way in to the Pirelli pole battle. Qualifying to set the grid for the Meguiar's Bathurst 12 Hour. This is a race that has only been won from outside the top 10 on one occasion. It's only been won from lower than 7th on one occasion. You want to be at the front of the field when this race starts at 5:45 a.m. local time tomorrow morning. But there's a bigger carrot dangling on the end of the stick here as well.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open pit exit, please.
Because at the end of the next 15 minutes, up for grabs is the Allan Simonsen Pole Award. It's named after the Great Dane who tragically lost his life in a crash at Le Mans in 2013, but was one of the founding fathers of GT racing from an international driver standpoint here in Australia, and especially at this racetrack. There were few that were quicker than Al here at Mount Panorama, and as a result, the pole trophy is named in his honour. And there have been all kinds of emotions when drivers do the time and get that trophy. So 15 minutes on the clock, fastest driver will start from pole position. Garth Tander has made his way upstairs. John Hindhaugh alongside me as well. We love qualifying at Mount Panorama. There are few things better than an all-out attack on the 6.213 Ks of Mount Panorama.
Easily the best 6.213 kilometres of tarmac that we have in the Southern Hemisphere, and some may argue in the entire world. 174 metres of elevation as you make your way from pit lane up to the top of the mountain. The cutting at turn 4 is a critical corner. The run across the top, Reed Park, McPhillamy Park, across Skyline, down through the S's to Forest Elbow for that important run out onto Conrod Straight, where the cars reach a top speed of north of 285 kilometres an hour. Braking heavily down into the chase and the final corner. Easy to get it right, but even easier to make a critical mistake here at the mountain. We break it up into 3 sectors. We often talk about the run up the mountain in Sector 1, the run across the top in Sector 2, and the run down Conrod Straight for the final sector.
Here are the times that were achieved to get into this session and the drivers that will do the job. 2 of them have won the Allan Simonsen Pole Award before. Matt Campbell in 2020 and Austrian Lucas Auer, who did the job last year for Craft-Bamboo Racing. Going right back, Maro Engel, the first driver to win the Allan Simonsen Pole Award in 2014. Laurens Vanthoor won it. Shane van Gisbergen with what was then an all-time lap, and it took a long time to beat his 2:01.2 in a McLaren back in 2016. Tony Villander in the flying Ferrari in 17. Chaz Mostert's done it twice. He did it in 2018 and 2022. Matt Campbell in 2020. So, will we see a repeat pole winner? Will we see a new name? Will we see a new brand, Lamborghini, yet to score a pole position at Mount Panorama?
Let's just remind everybody, we have scrubbed all those times that the guys did to get in here. Positions 11 on down were set earlier on. This is for the top 10 and for that big Allan Simonsen pole trophy. And I am intrigued to see how these guys go about this. 15 minutes, Garth, not a lot of time. You could still throw 2 sets of tyres at it, though.
It would be tight to get 2 sets of tyres at it if you chose to do that. We did see in the bottom 50% qualifying session and the top 50% qualifying session, both half-hour sessions earlier this afternoon, that it was taking 12, 13 minutes before we were seeing representative lap time. So, yes, you could get it done on 2, but you might do 2 average runs instead of 1 really good run. And we already have seen some split in strategy. The BMW didn't roll out right at the start of the session. The Mercedes, some of the Mercedes went out and came straight back into pit lane. That's some of the heat soak that Shea Adam has picked up earlier in the weekend, where they go out, get a whole heap of temperature into the brakes and into the car, and then sit in pit lane and let that brake temperature radiate out of the brakes into the rims, into the tyre. So you're not taking goodness out of the tyre, you're just getting temperature into the tyres. And then the Audis, the Porsches, they're all out working very hard right now on a second preparation lap ahead of what I think will be quite a long set of push laps.
It will surprise you not at all to know that Matt Campbell is behind the wheel of his 911 Porsche. Marco Mapelli has taken out the wall. Lamborghini Huracan, the number 93 red and white car. Christopher Haase in the Audi number 55. Brock Feeney in the Ford Mustang, and Raffaele Marciello in the 46 WRT BMW M4 GT3 Evo. First time we've seen that car here. So those guys have stayed out on the mountain. All of the Mercs, and there are AMGs, I should say, sorry, and there are 5 of them. Half of this top 10 for the pole position.
There it is.
Are AMG Mercedes. There is the trophy. That's an impressive looking trophy.
And the trophy's pretty good too. The koalas have been given out around Bathurst this week. They've been the hot commodity item. Been traded for things over the weekend as well. Very popular.
You got one of those, Garth?
No, I haven't got one yet. But
No,
I know someone, so I could get one.
No.
I've got a couple stashed away. I'll look after you two gents when we get to the end of the weekend. So here we go. Christopher Haase, the first to have a go at this. Should say Raffaele Marciello has got a pole position here. He qualified second in the shootout in 2019, but was elevated to pole position. The Aston Martin, Jake Dennis at the time, that got pole originally was eliminated from qualifying, was excluded from that session. So Lello has an Allan Simonsen pole award. He then qualified third the following year in 2020. Hasn't qualified a car here since. He's either not made the top 10 or not been driving in the car at the time. Fascinated, deeply fascinated to see what this guy can do for the wall racing Lamborghini team, because he was blisteringly quick, Marco Mapelli. 36-year-old Italian, raced here in Australia in open wheel racing as a junior before plying his trade as a factory GT driver. He first raced with Audi and has now been a Lambo driver for a long time. The engineer that he's come down with from Lamborghini is a guy he's worked with for a long time, and the team told me they have transformed that car this weekend, and he has been getting the absolute most out of it. But perhaps more importantly, his 3 teammates have all been doing personal bests as well.
So 8.5 minutes to go in this Pirelli pole battle, and you've got to be kind to your Pirelli tyres here. You can't go too quick too soon.
Well, you say that, John Hindhaugh, but Brock Feeney's just rolled off a 50.2 in the first sector, so he hasn't mucked around getting the Pirellis up to temperature. So the Mustang was incredibly fast in that first sector up Mountain Straight. Not as strong across the top of the mountain, but they're playing to their strengths and making sure this thing is super fast once they point it in a straight line here off Forest Elbow. So big commitment required for Brock to get everything he can out of the car across the top of the mountain. and then let the car do its thing in a straight line.
He's coming down towards where the Ford Mustang Craill will be, and Ford Racing opened its doors yesterday to any Ford owners on the property to go and say hello and grab a hot drink. Just gone past that now through the Scuderia Auto Arts chase.
Brock said, people were saying, oh, you guys were sandbagging yesterday. We said, genuinely, we were not fast on Friday, but we unlocked the car overnight, made some massive changes, and the first benchmark lap times are 2:02.41. Suspect the conditions are quite similar to where they were in qualifying 1 and 2 earlier today. So just under 21 degrees, still that patchy cloud cover over the circuit, occasional bouts of sunshine break out. So somewhere in the ones you'd expect for pole position. But yeah, he said, we were genuinely not that great yesterday, but we have transformed the car overnight. He said it is very, very good today.
All three of the HRT Ford Racing Mustang GT3 drivers went to the shakedown gathering at the Oxford last night, and Brock Feeney was quite bullish about the potential for the weekend. I thought it was really very interesting indeed. Right, let's keep an eye on the times while Shea Adam down in the Elf Oil pit lane can give us some of the atmosphere and the tension from the lane.
Well, there is a massive tailwind going into turn 1. All of the flags are at full attention up and down the front straight, and you can feel it coming in and out of the pit garages. Depending on how far into the garage you stand, you actually get protected from the wind, but as soon as you step out onto the lane, it is aggressive. So that's got to be affecting the braking point for the cars going into that critical first turn.
It's a really good point that you make, Shay, because I noticed earlier when we came on air that there was this wind direction was there, but it wasn't super strong, and it's a lot stronger now. So the wind intensity is certainly picked up, and it's the fast wind direction that you have here at Mount Panorama, because the wind blows across the track, and at the moment it's a tailwind down into turn 1, like Shay mentioned, but where it's the fast direction, it's a headwind into Skyline, so you get a whole heap more downforce when you exit McPhillamy Park and then send the car over Skyline. And Marco Mappelli using that to perfection of 2:01.9. That's the fastest that car's gone this weekend. So Mappelli finding speed early, 3.5 tenths up on Haas. Now Feeney goes to second. So as quick as you can say it, the positions are changing.
And all of the Mercs are now out of pit lane as well to start their their run at this. It's not first run because there's only 5 minutes left on the clock. This session goes very, very quickly. Great lap for the bronze class car, but in driver only, not car, for Marco Mappelli. But Lucas Auer now starting to wind up the Craft-Bamboo racing car on his first push lap, and he's gone sub 50 seconds to the first split, which is a very good indicator that you're on for a mid-1 at Mount Panorama. Now, last year to get pole, that car went out of pit lane, it did its push lap, it got pole, and then that was it. It was done. Could he do that job again?
One and done for Lucas Auer. And here comes the Scott Taylor Motorsport car, the 222.
Scott Andrews is pushing very, very hard in the Guy Valmont racing car as well.
Excuse me, yeah.
We'll follow this lap for Cam Waters across the line. It should get him up the order. It certainly does with a 2:01.92. Pulls 69 thousandths of a second over Mappelli. So the Mercedes-AMG goes to the top. Chris Haas is looking pretty special at the moment as well. Andrew goes second, 8 thousandths behind Waters to make it an AMG 1-2 and bump Mappelli back to third.
We're going to see some pretty fast lap times fire in here soon, and this will be the first one. Lucas Auer seriously fast at the end of the second sector. It's going to be a very low one. As he comes to the line, what does he have for us? A 2:01.5, so lost a little bit in the last sector, did Auer. But also still fast sectors coming in from Christopher Haase and Lucas Stoltz aboard the Sun Energy 1 AMG Mercedes. Haase crosses the line, a 1.7.
Just keep an eye as well for Jaden Ojeda. In the number 6 AMG, he's the last. He was the last Merc out of the pits, so he's about half a lap behind all the other Mercs. So he's just slightly off strategy and off tyre warm-up with everybody else.
Matt Campbell's gone third in the Porsche. Marciello for BMW goes fourth. So Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, BMW, the top four. 4 different brands in there. Here's Lucas Stoltz. quickest of anybody to the first split. Personal best across the top, gives a couple of tenths away to the Audi, but for a car that has qualified consistently strong here at Mount Panorama, this is a very good lap. Jules Gounon gave him the honour of qualifying a car at Mount Panorama. Does he deliver? And he does. It's a 201.4. And a round of applause from his co-driver. Lucas Stoles now goes to the top. But Cam Waters has replied. And he's on for a very good lap time.
Certainly is. Fastest personal best sectors in the first and second sectors. Has the cumulative best at the end of the second sector. Nice and tidy in the final sector through the chase in the final corner. Does he come to the line? A one dead. Wow. Now we're starting to talk. Does Maro Engel's lap time look safe? A 2-minute .8 is the outright qualifying lap record. We're not far away.
And the best lap time, if you added everybody's best sector together, is a 2-minute .9. So you're spot on there, Garth. This could be something very special indeed. Team Craft-Bamboo with the mostly white AMG GT3. 003 in the top right-hand side of the windscreen. He's third at the moment. Does he improve as he crosses the line?
Second. 1.25. Cam Waters, 107. What a lap time from 222. And Haase, who is doing amazing things across the top of the mountain in the Audi. Still fourth, though, but improves to a 201.5.
Lucas Stoltz in third, has the fastest first sector. We're seeing a lot of really quick first sectors, but it's the final sector that lose a little bit of lap time, and that is where we find Lucas Stoltz now as he makes his way down Conrod Straight. His middle sector was not great, but still only 3 tenths away from Haase in the Audi. So the strengths and weaknesses of the Mercedes-AMG versus the Audi R8 are starting to show their true colours. The Merc's very quick up the mountain, but the Audi so fast across the top.
For reference, that lap from Cam Waters is the second quickest qualifying lap in Bathurst. Full stop, any race. Only Engel's 2-minute .8 is quicker. What's this lap from Lucas Stoles? Garth touched on the fact the middle sector wasn't great. And as a result, it's a personal best, but no improvement. Stays third.
But he does get one more lap, guys. 30 seconds on the clock. It's the usual rules. If you get across the line before the checkered flag comes out, you can complete your lap. I think he might be the last person to get that other lap. We're waiting for the 222 to come down to the final corner, and I think time might have elapsed by the time they get there. Yeah, it's going to.
Yeah, so Cam's rolled out of it. He's well out of it, and I think he's probably catching his breath right now.
4, 3, 2, 1. Checkered flag, please.
Checkered flag out. You can complete your lap. We are seeing some personal bests on the screen. Matt Campbell's on a couple of personal best sectors, currently 5th in the 911 Porsche. Here's Jaden Ojeda. He's 10th right now. And this is his first real go at it. He's going to get the one lap. So he comes to the line. Lucas Auer's put the Q in the rack. So second will be the best he has.
Stoll's going on with it, though. So he got across the line and got to start one final lap. So watch for 75 across the line for Ojeda. 202.1 remains 10th, which is where he will start Meguiar's Bathurst 12-hour. Here's 75 Express.
Last car on the track, Craill. This is a potential once again for this very local team, really.
Matt Campbell gets himself to 4th, so puts the number 911 Porsche on the outside of the second row. And everyone else has completed a lap behind. Brock Feeney across the line at a 1.9 in the Mustang remains 9th. So Campbell will start on the second row of the grid. This is the question mark now. Will Lucas Stoles do enough to grab pole position? He gave away a couple of tenths in the middle sector. This final few corners of Mount Panorama will have to be mighty for a double winner of this race to grab pole position. Or will it be Cameron Waters? That's the maths at the end of the Pirelli pole battle. Final few metres of Mount Panorama, and Stoll stays third, which means Scott Taylor Motorsport will get pole position for the Meguiar's Bathurst 12-hour, and Cameron Waters wins the Allan Simonsen Pole Award.
Let's just let that sink in for the guys down there in the pit box. There is a lot of emotion down there. Scott Taylor has supported this race brilliantly well, Craill, hasn't he? And he desperately wants to get the result with a full Aussie squad.
Massive investment over the journey, and his super keen to win it with an Aussie team and Aussie drivers and take on the best of the world. That is the second fastest qualifying lap in Meguiar's Bathurst 12-hour history. Cameron Waters takes pole position for 222, and Scott Taylor Motorsport for Mercedes-AMG. It's their 6th pole position for the brand in the history of the race, which is a record, and it's a 1-2 as well, with Craft-Bamboo backing up pole last year with 2nd today, and a 1-2-3 with 75 Express 3rd. Porsche from 4th. This race has been won from 4th place the last 3 consecutive years. That might be a very good lap for Matt Campbell. Chris Haase 5th for Audi. Marco Mappelli, best ever start for a Lamborghini, in 6th position.
Fastest Lamborghini lap ever as well.
Correct. And then we go back to Raffaele Marciello. Scott Andrews, that's a huge job to get the guy Valmont Racing Car into the top 10. The team from Pirelli will present the Allan Simonsen Pole Award trophy.
I think one lap too few for Jaden Ojeda. That he didn't really get a good go at it.
Still, top 10 start for that team's first crack at being a factory Mercedes squad. The presentation is underway down in Elfoil's pit lane. What a job for Cameron Waters.
Amazing stuff. I've only got 2/3 of the operation down here because Chaz Mostert's gone down for some Supercars testing. I've got Cam Waters, I've got Thomas Randall, I've got Matteo from Pirelli, and I've got the Allan Simonsen trophies also. Please hand that over to these guys because they have absolutely earned that. And this is a special moment and a very special trophy indeed to collect here at Mount Panorama. Cam Waters proving his versatility, NASCAR, sprint car, supercar, or here in a sports car. How good is it taking on the world's best on home soil and beating them?
Oh, look, it's unbelievable to obviously get pole here and win the Allan Simonsen trophy. It's Allan was an amazing bloke, met him a few times, so to do that is super special. I just can't thank my team enough. They've done an absolutely amazing job, and really through practice they tuned it up. I think having Baz and Chaz and putting all that supercar experience together really tuned the car up, and it's been a dream to drive. So yeah, can't thank Tommy, Chaz, the whole team. Obviously awesome spot to start tomorrow, and hopefully we can keep it up.
It's fast out there, isn't it, Thomas? I mean, we've just seen Cam do his best lap ever around the mountain. We're talking about nearly doing 2-minute flats. What's this speed like when you guys are behind the wheel this weekend?
Well, I wouldn't know. I haven't gone that fast around here. I'm just glad to be been watching from the pits. But yeah, I mean, Cam did a mega job. Like Cam said, just echo that with just big credit to the whole SCM crew, Ash Seward Motorsport. It's, yeah, look, long way to go tomorrow. I'll just give a shout out to a mate of mine, Jack Aiken. Just want to say thanks. Yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. It's going to be pretty crazy in the morning.
No Chazzy here right now to help this moment and to enjoy this moment, but for tomorrow you guys have an even bigger job to do.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, it's nice to get pole and start up the front, but it's 12 hours around here, and mistakes happen, all those things. So I think we've got an amazing crew. We just got to try and get through the day, keep the car in one piece, and be there at the end.
New present for the bub?
I've actually already scored one, so now there's a second one. So that one might be for the dogs.
Yeah, I love that. New dad, Cam Waters, new pole award as well to go with it, the Allan Simonsen trophy. He's got his buddy alongside him in Thomas Randall. Chaz is going to be celebrating this one with the team later, but that is a special lap here at Mount Panorama. Cam's quickest and the second ever quickest here. How about that one? Let's go to Shay.
We'll talk about being special at the mountain. Lucas Auer, 2 qualifying attempts here at Bathurst, 1st and 2nd. How happy are you with that performance?
I hope it's not keep going down. I hope it's not getting worse and worse. But I was very happy. We prepared well for the race, which is the most important, and the car felt amazing qualifying. So huge thanks to the team.
It's still a front row start. How important is that at night when we're starting the race and you can't see anything?
No, I really think you never know what's happening in the start, so you always want to be in the front. That's why I'm very happy, and I think it's a great starting position. But tomorrow, I think the two we see tomorrow, yeah, will be interesting.
So next year you go back to pole. That's how we're going to do it, instead of going backwards.
Otherwise, after a couple of years, you won't see me anymore. I will be out.
Well, great job today, Lucas. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Oh, the celebrations have absolutely started down here for the 222 Scott Taylor Motorsport. How a go at the International Media Scrum that's down here. Scott Taylor himself a chance to raise the trophy, the Allan Simonsen trophy. And Let's just chat for a quick moment here, Garth, about the man who runs this operation, owns this operation. He puts a lot of resources into this. He loves to take his toys around the country, and this is a pretty special moment for him as well.
Yeah, I doubt you'll find a more passionate man about this event up and down pit lane than Scott Taylor, and the commitment, the financial, but also the energy and the effort that goes into putting together a program like this. So fantastic lap by Cam Waters, but also fantastic job by this team. They've engineered it themselves. They've, like he was saying, a lot of supercar brains in there, a lot of local knowledge that have taken on some of the best GT3 teams in the world and beaten them, and some of the best Mercedes teams in the world and beaten them. So it's a real feather in the cap to everyone involved with this program.
Well, didn't that session live up to the hype? That was fun.
Second fastest lap time that we've seen. I thought at the start of the week we're probably not going to get there. We're not going to get down there. And you asked me going into that, well, what the time do you think they're going to do? And I thought it was going to be a 1.3 or a 1.4 that was going to be the lap time. So ultimately a 1.0, second fastest lap ever seen in qualifying any category here at Mount Panorama. That was a pretty cool one.
Well done to the 222. Well done to Cam Waters and the entire operation down here. And it's all about tomorrow now. Big night's sleep, Garth, and we'll be here nice and early.
It's going to be a big one. And remember the start of this race here 12 months ago. They were banging panels going up Mountain Straight lap 1. So it is important to be starting at the front of the grid. So anywhere in the first 2 rows is a really solid, safe place to be starting. We always say every year, 12-hour race, qualifying doesn't matter. It does matter here. You need to start at the front.
I know it's an early alarm in the morning, but those pictures, that first hour, it is worth getting up for.
Oh, it is happy hour at Mount Panorama. And even when I was doing this race and I wasn't starting, I got out of bed early and I made sure I got up the top. And I was one of those guys with their phone filming it myself just to capture it, because it is a very special place to drive a race car at, and they're very, very special pictures. So get up early and tune in.
So how's it all going to play out tomorrow? We've not got long left today, but gee, we've got a bigger field of cars, we've got more safety car risk, a bit more strategy to play out as well.
Yeah, a lot of strategy to play out. There is some safety car risk. There are some slower cars that they'll need to make sure they're careful of. When the bronze gentleman drivers get in the cars, they'll need to make sure they manage all the strategy and manage all their driving time. So it'll be a fascinating game of chess for 12 hours, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Lovely work. I cannot wait to come back here tomorrow bright and early. Going to be catching it live, Fox Sports and Kayo, and streaming around the world. It's the Meguiar's Bathurst 12 hour, and that was just a taste of what's to come. We'll see you nice and early tomorrow.
So, the second 30-minute part of qualifying.
Oh, this is an issue.
Big moment. At 15 minutes on the clock, fastest driver will start from pole position. SRO Motorsports will get pole position for the Meguiar's Bathurst 12 hour.